Well, I'm Derek Wawack with Alltech. I'm a forage management and mycotoxin management specialist. Today we're going to kind of go through some things that I look at when I approach silage piles on farm and what I would see or try to inspect. So the first thing that I would do is probably look for safety aspects. Things like where there's large cracks, like up above here where there's maybe two crops, a 2015 and a 2016 corn silage that have been budded together. That may come down to either avalanche or collapse. If there's overhangs, tires falling down, bales around that could possibly tip over. From a safety aspect, always be very cautious being on farms. With that too, when we see very large mold lines like up above, try not to touch those, inhale those, maybe grab those or sample those types of areas, as many molds will cause issues with both animals and humans. They, along with that, produce a fair amount of different mycotoxins. Molds like your penicilliums, your aspergillus, your fusariums, which we would see in corn silage like this, very common mycotoxin producers. Penicillium mold alone can also cause dermal irritation, both for us and inside the animal, along with other gut health issues. Certain mycotoxins, it'll be the same thing, whether it's performance or production problems. It can be other things from vomitoxin can affect humans, can affect animals also. Molds we're looking at when we see colorations, especially in corn silage, your red molds, red to pinkish molds are going to be your fusarium or field-borne. Your blue-green molds are typically penicillium related, which is more storage but can happen in the field during certain weather conditions. Along with aspergillus, very big in dry climates. That's a lot of your olive green to yellow molds. So that's what we're going to look for when we're inspecting piles for molds. Then when it comes down to other aspects we're going to look at, facing and facing styles. We see here this pile has been shaver faced, very smooth, very clean. There's rakes and claws out there that'll cause a little more of a tine marks. Along with that, we see bucket facing. Well, with bucket facing, we have a lot of oxygen penetration due to the lift we see on pile faces. Some of the stuff we're going to look at with molds then, and then along with facing techniques, is we utilize these infrared cameras to do hotspot detection on the piles to look for areas of aerobic instability. Could be yeast, could be mold, bacterial, even just management from facing practices. Shavers have a tendency to not allow oxygen go into piles very deep, where rakes and buckets sometimes allow oxygen and some spoilage to happen a little quicker than shavers. Much of the other issues we're going to see with infrared cameras are yeast. Yeasts have a tendency to form big bubbles, and being water soluble will drain down piles, so can contaminate the top and then drain down through the face, as molds have a tendency to grow more in a linear effect. So if we're going in a linear or spherical effect, molds will stay more towards the top and in lines. Other things we're going to look at is how well has the plastic been managed? Has it been pulled back too far? How many sheets are they using? Are tires touching? Do they have the sides covered well and plastic pulled out with sand around the edges if it's a drive over pile such as this? Or is it a bunker where it's been at least run down the walls and then double overlaid? So from that aspect, that's a lot of what I'm going to do from a quick once over within this and the tools that I would utilize on farm here for Alltech.